My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video. Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go. We're live.
Oh, good morning, traders, and welcome back to another live stream. My name is Nick. I talk all about trading and investing here on YouTube, and happy Friday to you. Hope you guys are all doing well. It is almost the weekend. We are hanging out here with the closing stream. I don't know what is up with my shirt. Does my shirt look weird to you guys on the camera? I hate that it does this because I love this shirt, but it does want to just do all sorts of weird pattern stuff. So I apologize for that. That's probably going to be distracting. And maybe if it's too distracting, I'll just take my camera off. But happy Friday to you. Like I said, thank you for being here. We've got some things to talk about for sure. The markets are moving big time today. We've got the dollar shooting to the upside, gold coming to the downside, and currencies just making a crazy move all around, it seems like. And then, of course, you got the S&P 500 trying to crawl its way back after that recent dip was it this week? I'm losing track of my weeks now. S&P 500 came down the last few weeks. We've seen some downside on the S&P 500. Tried to make that rally here this week, and it still seems like we've seen a pretty impressive one with a bit of selling here before the US Open or the New York session open. So we've been trading all throughout the London session here. You can see here's the 1 hour chart. So to set the scene for today, you can kind of see that you've got this sell pressure coming in from the London session. So what the London session is, for those of you guys who are newer, there are three major sessions. You have the New York, you have the London, and you have the Asian session. And so what those are you've got, of course, the three major sort of segments of the world. So you've got Europe, places like Germany, Africa, that whole sort of middle column. And then, of course, you've got the New York session, which sort of represents North America, and then the Asian session, which is China, India, all of those places on that side of the world. So you have the three major sessions, and what you can see here is that during the London session, we did see a bit of selling on the S&P 500 futures, which we'll see if that has any impact on the open today. You may see buyers come out strong yet again out the gate. That's what we saw the past few days. We've basically seen the open come out really strong for the bulls. So we'll see if that can play out yet again. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll probably come back to the S&P 500, of course, in about 25 minutes once things get going for New York session, or at least for the stock market, Wall Street session. What we'll do here is I do want to start out with the dollar today. So taking a look at the DXY, and you can see the dollar just absolutely making a move here today, really, really pushing higher. So what we're noticing is that you had this really crazy spike. I don't know if you guys saw this. You had this insane movement there on the dollar hourly chart. When was this actually? When was this? This was 8 p.m. last night. Is that just my broker? Somebody do me a favor. Is this candle on DXY? Is that on your, actually, you know what? I guess I could look at DXY from another. Okay, yeah, so that looks like a fluke. That's a really interesting price action move. So one broker is showing that spike while another is showing different candles. That's actually really interesting. So go here. Let me see. I'm just checking the different brokers to see. Oh, that's not what we want. DXY. That's not what we want either. Okay. Anyways, so looking at the dollar, what we can see here on the daily chart at the very least is that that level of support is holding really strong. We're seeing the buyers come in today on the dollar. And this has basically gone with my sentiment on the dollar. I do think the dollar is coming back up to 93.7. I talked about that this week. I think after we saw that breakout here, that was basically, for my bearish thesis on the dollar, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin, if you will. I paused on all my, thinking the dollar was going down. Now, the dollar still could come down, but right now, from a technical analysis standpoint, it does seem to be showing a lot of strength to the upside. You can see just solid green candles coming in there, segments of just absolute buying. Here's just some crazy buying, crazy buying, right? Solid buying, saw some pretty strong selling, but then we entered this consolidation, and of course, coming out the gate strong again today. And who knows? The dollar's been real crazy lately. Last Friday, we actually saw some insane buying right into the close of the weekend. So perhaps we see a similar thing happening this week. So again, I think that the dollar is very likely to head back up to try at least to tag and maybe even break the highs of the year up there at 93.7. We're still a ways away. But again, when this thing gets moving, like I said, last Friday, it was just absolutely crazy to watch that. We saw just a lot of pressure on the dollar. So, okay, anyways, let's move on to the euro. The euro I have talked about a few different times recently in respect to the yearly lows where I think price is going. Again, similar to my dollar thesis, if the dollar is going to strengthen, we would expect the dollar against the euro to, or the euro against the dollar to diminish or to go down, right? If we're on board with that whole dollar bullish thesis. So anyways, we've seen a lot of pressure here on the euro. So every time price has gotten a little bit of a headway, we've seen bears basically push it back down. And I think that with the euro USD, especially here with coming down, looking like it's weak here coming into the New York session, it could be coming right back down to the lows of the year, which is we just barely missed them last time on the last sell-off. So perhaps we can take another stab at that and make a move back down to 1.1675. Now, this is based on a couple different things. Number one, the trend here definitely seems in favor of the sellers. And generally speaking, when I'm looking at a chart, if it's moving lower, I am more likely to expect it to continue moving lower, and vice versa. If it's moving higher, then I'm betting more likely that it's going to continue higher. I'm a trend follower in general, so I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to be the smartest person in the room. I'm trying to make money, and the best way I know to do that is to not try and fight the people who are really making the money, but rather try and join them creatively. Let me show you guys something interesting here. I'm going to pull up some information on our website. We'll head over to a1trading.com. Actually, let me see if I can do this. We'll go Control Tab. I learned about this feature here. So anyways, I am now on our website. This is a1trading.com. You guys can feel free to use the site anytime you would like. It's completely free. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at retail sentiment. I want to show you guys this. So we'll head over to retail sentiment really quick, and I want to show you the euro dollar today. So as we sell off into this, what you might not be aware of, or you may be aware of, depending on how long you've watched my streams, I cover this pretty often. The euro here is 39% short and 60% long by retail traders. What that is, when I say retail sentiment, it's the average trader who is not making any money, right? If we know that the average trader in the foreign exchange, the stock market, the futures market is losing money, and then we also have information that they are piled into a long trade on the euro against the dollar, that to me instantly is a red flag to say, okay, well, I want to be cautious about taking longs. I'd be more interested in taking shorts on the euro, especially being keen to the fact that, okay, we have most retail traders betting on the euro, betting against the dollar. And what do we see today? We see dollar strength coming in hot. So when we look back here at the chart, again, you can see it being reflected. You see sellers basically just dominating this. And what do we know about the retail traders? They have been buying the lows, right? Or trying to buy the lows. And then what ends up actually happening is what seems to be low becomes not low at all, right? We see the next extension lower. And that's kind of what we see. It's a very predictable pattern even in retail sentiment. Is you can kind of see when the markets are trending one way, usually retail traders are not on the side of the trend. They're usually against the trend. They're usually getting beat up and not taking advantage of some of those good trends that occur. Now, I will say for the euro dollar bulls, the one thing that would be sort of a signal to the upside would be if we got some form of higher low here. Maybe if we see something like this, where you see a strong technical bounce there on the euro dollar and break us out of this downward structure, then yeah, perhaps we could see some more upside for the euro USD. But as it stands, when it comes to markets, I'm not a big fan of just hoping and praying. I'm more of a fan of, just trying to take the path of least resistance. So what that means to me is I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, yeah, the euro's got to bounce. It's got to do it right here. I mean, it might, But I think that the more likely scenario is to just go with the flow. The trade, obviously in hindsight, because of course I can see what already happened, the trade was up here, right? The trade was in favor of the downtrend, right? Going with the flow and probably looking at targets at 1.1675. That is my opinion. Please remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go take a trade on the euro. I'm just taking my thoughts and throwing them out there on YouTube for you guys. But what I notice is that generally speaking, retail traders get beat up big time because what they do is they constantly fade or try and go against the major moves in the market. And you guys have to think for a second, where is the real money made in this chart? Where is the serious money made? Is it, trying to short constantly every time something goes up? Or is it more in just buying something like this? And if it works, add to the trade, get that big juicy winner going. And then, hey, when it stops, just hop out of there, right? And maybe even look to sort of join the next move. The real money on this chart, if you think about where is the money being made on this chart? The money in this chart is made in these big, juicy trends. Everybody wants to call the top. Everybody wants to call the bottom. That's what everybody is obsessed with. When something is dipping, they all want to buy it because they want to be the one to say, hey, I bought it at the bottom. But there is, in my opinion, more money in just going with the path of least resistance and just riding along. I'm not trying to be, like I said, I'm not trying to be the smartest person in the room. I'm just trying to capture a piece of the action. So that's my thoughts. I've ranted about that. It's not my first time here, but again, shout out to all you guys who are here with me on a Friday. Happy Friday to you. Thank you very much for being here. You have two channels running at the same time. Yes, you're right, Chris. I've actually got my channel, and then we have our team channel or our company channel, which is A1 Trading. Feel free to watch us on either one. We have lots of content on both channels. If you want more of my side of stuff, you can subscribe to Trader Nick. And then also we have lots of special guests and special speakers who come on our second channel, A1 Trading. So if you're not already subscribed to A1 Trading, go subscribe to that one because we've got great people. We've actually got a show coming on in just about 45 minutes with a special guest, actually a new person to join us. So I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll drop a link for that afterwards. Let's take a look at the pound today, see what the pound is up to. So the pound was really, really strong yesterday. And we can see that pound dollar move coming back, swinging back the other way today with dollar strength really sort of coming in yet again. So where are we at with the pound? Well, let's go see what retail sentiment has to say. The pound, 35% of retail traders short, 64% of retail traders long. So the popular trade here by the little guys is to be buying this thing, which doesn't speak too highly to me. So I do like the idea of actually buying the pound. I'll be completely honest. I do like the idea of buying the pound, but I'm not really willing to do it unless it shows signals of buying, right? Again, I'm not trying to be the first person to buy the pound. I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to be the person that gets involved with the trend once it occurs. Now, what that might mean to me is maybe we start to see interest once the daily chart can get a breakout, something like this. Can we see, a break of this pattern? Because right now you scroll out to the daily chart and what you see is lower highs. You see the pound dollar finding sellers on each retracement. So again, big sell-off, corrective move, big sell-off, corrective move, big sell-off. Now, to be fair, what we notice here is that on the flip side of this, we also see buyers hanging out in the lows. We see some pretty good support levels here down at 1.36. So if you're a Super Bowl on the pound dollar, if you really have an idea that you want to play out and you think that it's going higher, then of course you're watching that 1.36 level. Now, to the bears out there, if the dollar comes out really strong, like if we see dollar strength really get going, we could actually see 1.36 break, which would be the low of the year for the pound against the dollar. If we were to get past 1.3571, say, that would basically be new territory for sellers. Now, watching this again, every time prices rallied, you've seen those sellers come back into the pound. So, what I would say is that if you are a seller, we see this sort of pattern where you're tightening up, right? You're seeing buyers are here, sellers are here, but sellers are progressively pushing lower, whereas buyers are not pushing higher, right? So when we think about that, notice this: sellers are coming in here, then they're pushing lower, and then they're still willing to sell it lower and lower and lower. Meanwhile, buyers are still just holding this area. So what I would caution the bulls out there to think about is that if price is able to come back down and actually break out to the downside, I would say that sellers have sort of conquered that area, and that from a technical analysis standpoint, you could see much further downside. Now, what about the pound fundamentally? Fundamentally, I do like the pound, but I might not be interested in the pound against the dollar per se. Maybe there's other ones to be trading out there. Maybe there's things, for example, like pound CHF, which I do like a bit more to the upside if it starts to show signals of buying pressure. Now, of course, I like the pound against the Swiss franc because only really in a truly risk-on environment, because in that case, what we could see, what I mean by risk-on, I'll explain that in a second for the new traders. You have this big resistance, right? You just have sellers in mass up in this level. You can see that level has just been a consistent zone of resistance for every time price has rallied. We've seen just sellers come back in. So if price was able to get above that, that would show some change in the status quo, right? That would show, if you got a big, strong close outside of that, right? Not just one of these wicks, but a true close outside. Let's say, we make our way up, and then you get a candle like this, right? That closes outside. That to me would show, okay, this pattern may be out of the, out with the old and with the new kind of thing. And maybe we could see a retracement or a push further, rather, up to that high at 1.3. So that scenario could be something where I really like the pound. But right now, with the pound getting quite weak during recent price action, it's hard for me to justify buying it because, like I said, I am a trend follower. So although I may want to buy these things, I can't buy them if they're not actually trending, right? So that's sort of my limit, is I'm looking for something that's moving higher, making its move, and trying to creatively join that move in a way that keeps my risk as small as possible while, maximizing my reward kind of thing. So we'll keep going. We'll take a look at another major currency, which is dollar yen. So dollar yen, look at this, you guys. Now, this is probably the most interesting thing I've seen today. The dollar is so strong today, and we actually see it breaking out to the upside here today against the yen. Now, this is a level that we have talked about for I don't know how long. I guess really we've talked about this level for, what, 40 days or so? Ever since we broke to the downside here, we've just never been able to get above. And speaking of what I just said about pound Swiss, we're seeing something similar happen here on dollar yen. We're seeing a close above this level of resistance that has just been consistently sold off. This is a daily chart, by the way. So if we go look at the 4-hour, you can see it even better. Look at that regimented, strong buying. We're seeing a serious move into the dollar against the yen today, which is really interesting. And again, I think that could be very well set to continue. You may have a little bit of resistance here, but maybe there's something here. Maybe there's some pullbacks on the yen that could be, or the dollar against the yen, that could be very interesting. So keep an eye on that if you are a technical trader or a fundamental trader. I'm wondering what the news is for the dollar. Is there something today that is really strong? We'll have to figure that out. Did we have something big on the news? Let's go see. Fed Chair. Okay, so we have Fed Chair Powell speaking in 40 minutes, which definitely could be market moving. And it does look like we're seeing a lot of dollar strength here coming into this morning. Let's take a look at dollar Swiss franc. So this one also trailing higher a bit here, not quite as much as the yen. The yen seems to be really seriously moving today. So congrats to the yen bears today. You're probably sitting in a good spot. So dollar Swiss franc here, taking a look at this one. This one has basically held support very, very well. And I am looking to see if this one can break higher. Now, I really liked this one. I actually picked up a position. I'm still in it, but I'm not logged into my broker right now. I'm still in my dollar Swiss franc trade where I bought at the 61.8. So I bought right around here, somewhere in this area. and then have just been sort of waiting on this trade to play out. So I'm looking to see if this thing can break to the upside. I really would like to see if it could get past resistance here. And from there, there may even be an opportunity to look to add. So occasionally I will do this where I'll take a position and I'll actually add to a position that's winning if it makes a good move that I like. So for example, if we were to see a strong breakout to sort of catch up to that dollar yen move today, if dollar strength keeps going, maybe the dollar Swiss franc can make a serious push above and get maybe even above this level of resistance here. From there, maybe there's a chance to add. So I'll keep an eye on that. Of course, those of you guys who are in the Discord, feel free to keep tabs on that. I'll pull it up just so you guys can see where I'm at with it. So I re-entered this dollar Swiss franc trade. I stopped out for break even, decided to retake the trade. So I jumped back in at support. You can see there's the level. And so far, things have been going pretty well. Actually been pretty quiet up till now, but we are seeing some dollar strength sort of come into this market. So, of course, if you guys are not inside of the Discord already, I share all of the trades that I'm taking. So whether I am taking a winning trade or a losing trade or whatever it is, I share every single one of my trades with an entry, with an exit, and a reasoning behind the trade. So I'm not a big fan of just like signals or copying or anything like that, because I don't think that that really does people any good. What I do is I share inside of our private group. I'll share the trades that I'm taking in details with descriptions and with explanations and pictures. And, you know, each trade that I'm taking, my goal is not to, you know, send out a copy alert. My goal is to send out my trade with my journals basically being inside of this group. So I share all of my trades inside of the journal here, basically. So so does Frank, so does Patrick. And then, of course, we have the chat room. You can join our webinars and things like that. So lots of good stuff inside of the group. If you're not already in there, there's a link down below in the description. You can sign up. And there is actually a promo code as well. You can click the link, use that promo code when you sign up, and you'll get a discount on your membership as a YouTube subscriber. So check it out down below. With that said, we'll take a look at some more markets. Let's take a look at gold today, because I wonder how gold is reacting to all this dollar strength. So look at that. Gold is back down to the lows. And this is just an impressive move, you guys. I don't know if you guys saw the video I made, but I basically said that, you know, the 61.8 level here looks really juicy. And then sure enough, man, that trade just went to the downside beautifully. So made a push down to 1745, which was our target for the week. We nailed that. And so, you know, again, from here, the question is, can gold go lower? Well, I don't know, because it depends how the dollar closes this week. If the dollar keeps rallying hard today, you very well could see gold close at the lows. We could see gold make a fresh low for the week. It's not out of the question. Of course, it is a Friday, so you get some very weird price action on Friday as traders are sort of looking to close out for the week. But looking at the 4-hour chart, this thing just looks bearish. The sells are just very strong here for the gold market. So I am, you know, when I look at gold, my first reaction is, okay, sellers are just stronger here. Buyers cannot seem to hold this area. So that's a big, you know, signal to the sellers. And there's probably a lot of people on the intraday, you know, side of things saying, okay, yeah, buyers are not able to hold this. Let's keep selling, right? Kind of thing. So we'll see if it works out for them. You may get sort of just consolidation towards the end of the week. You may just get people who close out their shorts, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't expect price to massively drop further. But again, we have Fed news in 30 minutes. So that actually could very well happen. It could go either ways. So whenever we have big news from the Fed, it is a big market mover. Now, the trend right now has been dollar strength in response to a lot of what's going on with the Fed. So that means that we sort of have a hawkish tones from the Fed right now. So path of least resistance to me would be gold down, dollar up, if their pattern continues. Now, is that going to happen? Certainly, no. Please remember, this is not like financial advice. I'm not telling you to go do stuff just because I'm sharing my opinions. But my latest analysis basically has been a lot of times when the dollar reacts very positively because the Fed seems to be taking a bit more of a hawkish tone or a more aggressive tightening stance on monetary policy. There is inflation in the world right now. The U.S. has definitely seen some very high inflation for the last, highest inflation in over a decade, I believe. And, the Fed responding to that in ways that are trying to, they're actively trying to get to a point where they can tighten monetary policy to sort of combat that. They don't want high inflation. So big inflation equals the Fed is going to try and do stuff. And we've basically seen, for the last several months, we've seen the dollar be, mixed sentiment, sometimes down, sometimes up. Well, we do seem to actually see practical steps towards tapering, and rumors about rate hikes are here and there, but sometimes we're seeing, it's coming sooner. Sometimes we're seeing it's coming later. The latest thing has been a little bit more of a rumor towards sooner, which could be very strong for the dollar. So, of course, we will see how things go. Thank God it's Friday. I survived another trading week. Done. That's good. Same here. We're making it one day at a time. Do you know if some trade signals are any good? I don't recommend, Jack. I don't really recommend trading signals in general. I don't think that it's a good approach to trade with signals because. So I'll say this: a lot of times people will say, "Well, if they're just really good traders, I should just copy them, and that would make me money, right?" Well, and the truth is, if they are good traders, then like theoretically, actually, yes, you could make money blindly copying other people. But in actuality, I've never really seen anybody trade and copy signals for the long period of time, because what happens is that as a signal copier, you're giving up, you're saying like, okay, I'm not smart enough for this. I'm just going to copy someone else, right? That's your idea. So when things are going well, what the new trader does is they still have a new trader mentality, even though they're copying. So they say, oh my God, this person's really good. I'm going to add way more money to this account, and I'm going to put way bigger position sizes because they clearly know where the markets are going. Then things go bad for a few weeks, and because they over leveraged and got too confident, they blow their account, and then they're like, oh, these signals suck, right? And then the flip side is this. The flip side is that you sign up for somebody's signals or something like that, and things aren't going well, and you just immediately say like, oh, they just don't know what they're doing. It's their fault, not mine, and I'm out of here. What copying signals does for new traders is it gives them the comfort of being able to put the blame on someone else. Whereas real traders, anybody who is actually successful at this, takes 100% ownership. There is no winning by just copying other people, because you still make noob mistakes. You still enter trades incorrectly. You don't copy, precisely how they're doing it. You don't understand what they're doing. So when things go right, you get cocky. And when things go bad, you just get angry and blame people. And that's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous approach. So I don't believe in copying. If you don't want to take the time to learn to trade, I totally respect that. But what I would encourage you to do is look at passive long-term investing. Don't try and trade actively by copying someone else. That's just a pointless approach. I would say either choose that you don't want to do this, that you don't want to take the time to learn, and that you would rather just go long-term investing and not think about this stuff. Or if you want to learn, trade a demo. Be patient. Quit trying to earn while you learn. Like that's a nice theory, but in actuality, it's not real. You know who uses that? Pyramid schemes use that phrase. Pyramid schemes. We're not messing around with pyramid schemes here. We're not trying to earn and learn. We're trying to just learn, and then eventually we'll earn. Quit focusing on the earn part. What do you guys like? It's one of those things. You got to be able to just take the patient approach and say, hey, you know what? I am going to, what if you went to college? Check this out, you guys. Check this out. What if you went to college and you said, okay, I'm going to be a software engineer, because that's what I did. And the first year you were like, okay, well, I don't know anything about software, but I want to earn while I learn. And so you say like, okay, I want a software job where I'm going to make huge money, but I don't actually know how to do anything yet. That everybody would just laugh at you, right? That would make no sense. So you have to go get the degree, you have to learn the skill, and then slowly you'll earn your right to earn that money, right? Forget all the earn while you learn BS. Learn the skill, focus on the skill, learn to love the skill, and the money will come, but quit rushing the process. Sorry, Friday rants. Too much anger. Sorry, not anger, but too much, you know what I'm trying to say. It's just one of those things. There's a lot of cliches and danger in this market. A lot of people who are like, you can make quick money in this stuff. Like literally, I didn't make money in this stuff for years, 2 years or so before I started making any money. And the money I was making was not huge money. So it bothers people who have been investing serious amounts of time in this when people are like, well, I just want to make some money in the meantime just by copying other people and putting in no work. It's like, well, if people could do that, everybody would just do that, right? Big brain stuff. I don't mean to offend anybody if you disagree with me. I'm sorry, but it's the truth, and I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. Too much philosophy. Is it philosophy? You know, I took an IQ test, you guys. Is 75 good? I'm kidding. But I did take an IQ test. My girlfriend and I watched this show about IQ tests, and we were like, oh, that sounds fun. And so she actually got a higher score than me, which I'm not really surprised about. She's smart. She went to big technical school and engineer and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just a YouTuber trader guy. So, but I did actually, what would you guys guess? I'm curious. It's Friday. We're having fun. Friday, fun question. What would you guess that my IQ was? What would you guess that my IQ was? I don't actually know much about IQ tests. I don't know how valid they are, but I took it for fun just because, again, we watched a show. So why not? I'm kidding about the 75 though, by the way. I'm not, I don't have a 75 IQ, although sometimes I feel like I do. So let's just be completely honest. 200? That's it. I've got an IQ of 200. You heard my friend Muneral. That's correct. No, I'm kidding. I wish. Actually, I don't know. I've always heard that like people who have really, really high IQs are actually really like they're like depressed almost. Has anybody heard that before? -2. That's it. You got it. 40? Dang. I mean, I can be kind of dumb sometimes, but that's like to a different degree. That would be like a very, I don't think I could be like very functional at that level. I don't know. I don't know enough about IQ. Maybe you could. Okay. 250, definitely not that. 90, no. 65, 90. Do you guys think I'm like really dumb? That's funny. No, okay. My IQ score, I don't know how accurate it was because it wasn't like a really official one. It was just one that, you know, you took online and whatever. It was 125 and my girlfriend's was 130. So she is the smarter one, at least according to the score. So yeah, 125, that was what it was. I don't know. I looked it up and I was like, okay, you're in a range. You're like, I'm not genius or anything like that, but nowhere near. But I just thought it was a fun test. I encourage you guys, if you have time this weekend, play around with it. It's fun to see. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I was like sweating before I clicked the button to submit because I was like, dude, what if I'm really dumb? That would be really bad. So and it's funny, you know, so okay, I'll share one more funny point about this story. So my girlfriend was taking it at the same time and she was like, maybe you shouldn't submit. And she was being serious. And I literally I laughed out loud so hard because she was like, maybe it's just better if you don't know. And she didn't mean it like, oh, you're dumb. She just meant it like, it's just sort of a number. It doesn't really tell you like you're going to succeed and you're a genius in life or anything like that. I mean, unless you're really, really smart and you just have really great pattern recognition and learning abilities and all that. But yeah, so she made me laugh with that though. She was like, maybe you just shouldn't submit it. And I thought it was funny. She's funny. IQ tests are a load of crap. Yeah, I didn't, you know, I wasn't going to let it make or break me anyways, but I just thought it was fun. I'd never taken one before and it was a fun experience. It was also kind of a frustrating one because some of those questions, man, when you get to like you can start seeing where the geniuses are at, where you can start seeing like the really smart people questions and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back the other way because I can't do those ones. Let's take a look at the S&P 500, you guys. So the S&P is coming out pretty strong today. Seeing a bit of a initial push to the upside. We're going to have to see how this plays out for the rest of the day because here's your 5-minute chart. Candles opening up as the New York session opens. You can see there's a bam spike to the upside. We'll have to see how the follow through, if there is follow through for the rest of the day, or if that is going to be short lived. We'll have to just take some time to see. Path of least resistance here does seem to be the upside. The S&P 500 and just the stock market in general has been incredibly resilient. We've seen this thing, every dip just gets bought. So we'll see if that's going to be a recurring story here today, or if sellers can try and end the week on a red note. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But also has a big impact or a potential big impact by the 10 o'clock news, which is in 25 minutes from Fed Jerome Powell. So we could have some impacting movements there. So keep an eye on that. Send the link to the IQ test. Can I find it? IQ test. Let me see. Where did I find it? Was this it? I don't remember how I found it. I remember looking for a good bit. Let me see if I can. That one was pretty good. This one, I'll drop this link. I took, so the other thing that you have to remember, I've never, I just dropped a link just for anybody who cares. For those of you guys who don't know, also you're supposed to do it in 20 minutes. I did not know that initially, so I had to start a different one. So I never finished the first one. And then my girlfriend's like, you're doing it in 20 minutes, right? And I was like 10 minutes into it and sitting on one hard problem. So then I was like, you know what? Let me just find a different one because this is not going to be, it's not going to be accurate because I thought you had like an hour or something. I didn't like even think about time, but yeah. So anyways, you guys, that's going to wrap up the stream. Thank you for being here. Sorry for the off-topic rant here towards the end. I hope you guys don't mind too much. It is Friday after all. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy trading. If you're going to be trading the rest of the day, trade safe. Be careful out there. And I appreciate you guys. We've got another show starting in just 20 minutes or so here on our second channel, A1 Trading. So definitely tune in if you would like to meet our new guest. I'm really excited about it because it's his first time coming on, and it should be a lot of fun. Let me do this really quick. I'm going to drop a link. One more thing before we go. Can I drop this? Let me see. I don't know if I can find it. I'm never good at this. I always forget how to do this. Let me see. Okay. Go here. Grab this link. And we'll share this. Get shareable link. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to drop this really quick. If you would like to join the next stream, we've got a special guest, and I'm really excited to meet him. It's my first time meeting this person. I just dropped the link. So what you can do is click that link, head over to the second channel and click the set reminder, or just stay in the lobby there if you're just waiting on the next one. It should be really, really interesting to hear from our new guest. And again, subscribe to our second channel if you want more trading content from not just myself. Maybe there are people with higher IQs and better things to offer you on our second channel. So I encourage you to go check that out. Hit that link, check it out there, and we'll see you guys in the next stream. Thanks very much for all you guys who've been hanging out this week. We will see you back next week.
I know you were expecting Nick, but my name's Julie and I do the real work around here. I wanted to take a second to thank you guys for watching the show and tell you more about some free content that we offer. One of the things that we offer is a free email newsletter. So if you click the link down below, you can sign up for free market analysis, trading tips, and exclusive offers. Every once in a while, someone here at A1 Trading takes a crazy trade and you'll be the first one to know about it. See you guys next time.